TPLF fi mootummaan Itoophiyaa waliigaltee waraana dhaabuu irra gaaniitiin jiru. Guyyaa har'aan kana oduun Aammee jedhamudha yeroo ammaan kana sa'aata akka turu kan faffaca'aa jiru waan ajaa'ibaati. Lolli Tigraay fi Itoophiyaa gidduutti waggoota lamaatiif deemaatiin ture kan lubbuu namoota baay'ee galaafate. Guyyaa har'aan kana biyya South Afrikaa keessatti bifa adda ta'een lolli akka dhaabamuuf waliigalteen raawwatamuu fi namoonni garagaraa gaayaada garagaraatiin ibsachaatiin jiranii gabaasni BBC'n afaan Oromoo ammaan kana qabatee bahee akka jedhutti bakka buutonni mootummaa Itoophiyaa fi humnoonni Tigraay jaarsummaa gamtaa Afrikaa waliigaltee waraana dhaabuu mallatteessaniitiin jiran jedha. Waraanni mootummaa Itoophiyaa fi humnoota Tigraay gidduutti ergaa eegalame jala bultii waggaa lammaffaa isaarratti gaaga'ama hedduu booda dhiibbaa dhaabbilee idil addunyaa waliigaltee dhukaasa dhaabuu kana mallatteessaniitiin jiru jedha. Gabaasni kun ergamaan addaa gaanfa Afrikaa pirezidaantiin dura Naayijeeriyaa Olusegun Obasanjo duula walirraa hin cinne booda TPLF fi mootummaa Itoophiyaa waliigaltee waraana dhaabuu irra gahaniitiin jiru jedhan.
Finally, let me once again congratulate all the delegates.
Ergamaan addaa gaanfa Afrikaa pirezidaantii Naayijeeriyaa duraanii kan turan Olusegun Obasanjoon duula walirraa hin cinne booda TPLF fi mootummaan Itoophiyaa waliigaltee waraana dhaabuu kana irra gahaniitiin jiru jedhani. Kunilleen dhuma xumura marii araaraa osoo hin taane jalqabbii gaariidha jedhaniitiin jiru. Baankii misooma Afrikaatii fi gamtaa Awurooppaadhaa mariin nagaa kun akka milkaa'u maallaqaan deeggaraa akka turanis Olusegun Obasanjoon himaniitiin jiru jedham. Gabaasni BBC'n qabatee beekuni. Mootummaan Itoophiyaa bakka bu'aan marii nagaa kana irratti kan hirmaatan gorsaan nageenya biyyoolessa ministeera muummee Biyya Ahmed Ambaasaadar Ridwaan Husseen qaamolee marii nagaa kana milkeessan maqaa yaamuudhaan galateeffataniitiin jiru. Waraana kana of duubatti hambisuudhaaf tattaaffii qaamoleen Tigraay godhaniifis Ambaasaadar Ridwaan galateeffataniitiin jiru. Mootummaan US fi dhaabbileen idil addunyaa kaanis galateeffatanii gaaga'ama waraana kana qaqqabe suphuudhaaf akka gumaachan gaafataniitiin jiru. Ambaasaadar Ridwaan hawaasni idil addunyaa hojiilee mootummaan Itoophiyaa gama misoomaan hojjetaa jiru akka daawwatanillee afeeraniitiin jiru. Gama humnoota Tigraayin kan dubbatan dubbi himaan TPLF obbo Geetaachoo Raddaas gama isaaniin gamtaan Afrikaa marii nagaa milkaa'aa gaggeessuu isaaf baay'ee galateeffataniitiin jiru jedhani. Waraana kanaan ummanni Tigraay rasaasaan qofa osoo hin taane hanqina nyaataa fi qorichaan dhumaa akka ture obbo Geetaachoon dubbataniitiin jiru. Waliigaltee waraana dhaabuu amma mallatteessanis guutumatti dantaa saba Tigraay haala kabajuun akka raawwatamu abdii qabanis ibsaniitiin jiru. Waliigalteen amma qaamoleen lamaan irra gahan qaamolee ollaa fi nu keessa jiran biroon akka hin gufanne waliin hojjechuu qabna jechuudhaan obbo Geetaachoon dubbataniitiin jiru. Waliigalteen dhukaasa dhaabuu kun atattamaan hojiitti hiikame marii siyaasaa akka itti fufus gaafataniitiin jiru. Mootummaan Itoophiyaatti fi humnoonni Tigraay ibsa waloo qabxii 12 of keessaa qabu baasanii gara waliigaltee dhukaasa dhaabuu mallatteessutti kan ce'ani. Qabxiileen ijoon ibsa waloo isaan baasanii kana keessatti argamu dhukaasa hambisuun olola qaamolee lamaan gidduu deemu dhaabuu mootummaan Itoophiyaa deeggarsa namoomaa dhiyeessuu kan jedhanii fi kanneen kan biraatis ni argamu. Waliigalteen kun kan mallatteeffame obbo Geetaachoo Raddaa fi gama mootummaa Itoophiyaa irraayis Ambaasaadar Ridwaaniin mallatteeffamuutu dubbatama. Hirmaannaa humnoota Eritiriyaa wantoota waliigaltee kana gufachiisuun malan waa'ee TPLF shororkeessummaa jalaa baasuu fi dhiisuu irratti miidiyaalee irraa gaaffiin dhiyaateetiin ture. Gaaffii kana ilaalchisuudhaan gaaffileen kun qaama jaarsummaa kan hooggananiif malee bakka buutota qaamolee lameeniif miti jedhani. Miseensonni jaarsummaa kanarratti hirmaatan deebii ifatee gaaffii gaafatame kanaaf osoo hin kennanis akka bira dabran dubbatama. Dhimmoota akka waraana hiikachiisuun ummata walitti deebisuun deeggarsa deebisanii dhaabuu dabalatee raawwii waliigaltee waraana dhaabuu irratti qaamoleen lameen irraahu gaaffileen gadi fagoon dhiyaachuu fi falmiin guddaan akka ture pirezidaantiin duraanii Keeniyaa Uhuru Keenyaataan dubbataniitiin jiru. Daangaan Itoophiyaa raayyaa ittisa Itoophiyaan akka eegamuu qabu ibsameetiin jira kan jedhan Uhuruun gama siyaasaatiin hojiileen dhimmoota kana irratti hojjetaman akka jiran ibsaniitiin jiru. Biyyattii keessatti nagaa guutumatti buusuudhaaf gahee qaamolee lamaan kanaan waan hin taaneef qaamolee biyyattii kaan hirmaachisuun waliigaltee kana dhugoomsuuf gaafatamni kennameeraaf jedhan miseensi biraan jaarsummaa kanarratti hirmaatani.
Finally, let me once again congratulate all the delegates. Well done. You have made all Ethiopians at home and abroad winners in this agreement. please positively move on, move up, and move forward, leaving the past behind. Ethiopia is a great nation and shall continue to be a great nation and pride to all Africans. My brothers, I thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, dear friends, on behalf of the participants from the Ethiopian government in these peace talks, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the African high-level panel led by His Excellency former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the AU High Representative for the Horn of Africa. In these talks, you offered your guidance and support to the two sides. We are proud that you've shown the world the reservoir of wisdom in our continent and our capacity to resolve our problems. We are pleased that you've accepted to support the implementation of the agreement we've signed today. Your work stated with the initiative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mr. Musa Faki Mohamed. We applaud his vision and leadership. Commissioner Bankole, Adoye, Dr. Alhaj Sajoba, and their colleagues deserve our appreciation for their tireless work. Our deep appreciation goes also to His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, and indeed to the people of the Republic of South Africa for their generous hospitality. We are grateful to Her Excellency Dr. Naledi Pandor, South Africa's Minister of Department of International Relations and Cooperation, for the excellent facilities she put at the disposal of the talks. We are indebted to all her colleagues for putting an extra hours to ensure the conditions are for the peace talks to continue and reach these positive conclusions. We thank the observers, Dr. Wekner Geweyo, the Secretary General of IGAD, Sana Tete, the Special Envoy for the Secretary General of the United Nations for the Horn of Africa, and Ambassador Mike Hammer, the U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, for accompanying and supporting these peace talks. We shall count on their continued support to Ethiopia to quickly move towards rebuilding communities affected by this conflict. The level of destruction is immense, and thus that needs are massive. We thank our brothers from the other side also for their constructive engagement to allow the country to put this tragic period of conflict behind us. It is now for all of us to honor this agreement. We must be true to the letter and the spirit of this agreement. The people of Ethiopia expected more than the text of this agreement. They demand peace and harmony. They desire development. They have charted a promising and bright future. Towards rebuilding communities affected by this conflict, the level of destruction is immense, and thus that needs are massive. We thank our brothers from the other side also for their constructive engagement to allow the country to put this tragic period of conflict behind us. It is now for all of us to honor this agreement. We must be true to the letter and the spirit of this agreement. The people of Ethiopia expected more than the text of this agreement. They demand peace and harmony. They desire development. They have charted a promising and bright future. The government on its part will take various proactive measures to nurture democracy and inclusive development in the country. Our democratic institutions have started delivering tangible progress. We will continue the institutional strengthening process. We have charted an inclusive national dialogue process to put Ethiopia on an even stronger foundation. In the course of this conflict, we've also witnessed a complicated picture of the relations with various foreign actors. Our sisters and brothers from Africa remain true to their principled stance that Ethiopians must own and resolve their differences. They advised and encouraged us to reach this day. We hope others will learn that such a generous and firm direction is the one to take in dealing with such delicate situations. Friends of Ethiopia deserve also our special thanks. It is now time to revitalize our relations with our partners and put them on a solid footing based on principles of international law governing international relations. We look forward to exploring ways of reinvigorating our ties with all our partners. We thank you all for your patience and support of Ethiopia, and I invite you to visit us and admire the wonders of our country while we keep on joining hands for our future betterment and enjoy also our hospitality of our people. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother Ambassador Redwell. At this point is an opportunity to also call on my other brother, the head of delegation for the Tigray People's Liberation Front, Mr. Getachew Reda. Getachew.
Thank you, Excellency, Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Republic of Nigeria and Chair of the AU High-Level Panel. His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, former President of the Republic of Kenya. Her Excellency Madam Fuzile Mlambo, former Deputy President of South Africa. Her Excellency Dr. Pandor, Minister of International Cooperation and Foreign Affairs of South Africa. Excellencies, partners, brothers and sisters. I would like to thank the AU and the AU High-Level Panel for having conducted a successful negotiation the last 10 days. Obviously, the last 10 days were not a particularly exciting experience in the sense that there was so much haggling over what would otherwise be considered trivial issues. But ultimately, the fact that we have reached a point where we have now signed an agreement speaks volumes about the readiness on the part of the two sides to lay the past behind them and to chart a new path of peace development. Making peace obviously has proved more difficult and more intractable and elusive than presiding over the killing and destruction, the killing of women and children and destruction of property. The war in our part of the country, the last 2 years, has claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and has turned Ethiopia, once in the cusp of great economic progress, into a bad parody of itself and caused tremendous suffering to the people of Tigray. Our people have been killed not only through bullets, but also for lack of food and medicine. Our children do not go to schools. Our hospitals are not functional because of the war. We have always felt this war was imposed on us, and we have always been ready to do everything in our power to stop this war. Now that we are here to sign an agreement, to at least explore the opportunity to see if we can make peace, and it is still within reach. It will come as a relief not only to the people of Tigray, but also to the entire Ethiopian population. And I hope, it's my hope and expectation that the two parties will continue to honor their commitment and redouble their efforts to make sure that the agreement they have signed is implemented and in a manner that satisfies the interest of our people. As you know, the humanitarian crisis has been particularly dire, and the fighting in the last 70 days has claimed over more lives. As we speak, as we are here ready to sign an agreement, thousands of combatants from both sides, as well as civilians, are losing their lives. So it is incumbent upon us not only to sign this agreement, but also to make sure that it's immediately implemented, and the follow-up activities that are required to make sure such an agreement is implemented to the fullest extent possible are carried through in earnest. And on our part, we are ready to do everything in our capacity to expedite the implementation of this agreement, and it's our hope and expectation that our brothers from Addis Ababa will do the same. Obviously, like I said, we cannot solve our problems when there is too much testosterone in the room. Obviously, some of you have been complaining that the delegates from both sides have little in the way of feminine presence. And people advise us that probably the presence of women would have made a difference as far as making peace is concerned. So when there is too much testosterone and when there is too much willingness on the part of the two sides to fight till the hell freezes over, it is the children and women who find themselves at the receiving end of the suffering. And it's unfortunate for myself and my comrades here who have once served in the same government. It took traveling all the way to South Africa. I'm not complaining that I traveled to South Africa. I have always loved being in South Africa, but it is quite tragic. It took a haggling of several months for us to come together and explore an opportunity for peace. Now that Chief Obasanjo, President Kenyatta, and Deputy President Fuzile have done their job well enough, simply means we have a new beginning and we have to build on that new beginning. For us, our children who have been away from schools need to go back to schools or to whatever is left of our schools, because the destruction is quite immense, as everyone has pointed out. And the destruction in Tigray has been even more particularly immense. Our children have to go to schools, they have to have medicine, the humanitarian crisis needs to be addressed, and this requires not just a pause in peace, a peace pause, but a serious effort on the part of the two sides and the international community, more particularly the AU panel and the AU Commission, the AU as an institution, to do everything within their power to make sure that this peace, this agreement holds. As far as both parts are concerned, we have made painful concessions because addressing the pains of our people is far more important than the kinds of concessions we have made. Yes, we have made concessions because we have to build trust and we have to make sure that every one of us builds on that trust. But like President Obasanjo clearly pointed out, to sign an agreement is one thing, but to implement it is entirely different. And our focus should be on implementing it, not because we are weary of fighting, but rather because our people deserve every ounce of it. It's our hope and expectation that both sides will remain faithful to the commitments they have entered. And it's also our hope and expectation that the verification and monitoring mechanism we are going to put in place will be an ironclad one, and the international community needs to throw its weight behind such a process so that we can avoid a relapse into the kind of traditional proclivity to resolve differences by shooting at each other. So I hope our effort to silence the guns would be followed through in earnest, and our people deserve all the peace in the world, and we need to rebuild communities which have already been shattered as a result of such a bloody war that has continued for the last 2 years and still continues. I know there are spoilers from nearby, from inside our ranks, from the neighborhood, and we also know they would not stop at nothing to sabotage our peacemaking efforts, and it is only through our collective resolve that we can hold these spoilers in check, whether they are from the entire neighborhood or from within our ranks. We have to tell them that there is no substitute for peace, that our people deserve all the peace in the world. All our mothers and sisters and our children deserve all the peace in the world. And for us, we are ready to do everything to make sure that no effort on the part of spoilers would set us back on our commitment for peace. Our decision to silence the guns should also serve as a basis for a continued political engagement that will help us resolve overarching political problems that have bedeviled the nation. And I know as long as we have this pause, as long as we continue to renew our commitments for peace, we still can find it within our hearts to mend fence and to resolve political differences. And ultimately, it is only through political dialogue that problems of political nature can be resolved, and that commitment should always be there. Last but not least, I would like to thank once again all the people who have been involved in making this happen. More importantly, the high-level panel has been very instrumental, and I would also like to thank Hannah Tete, Workana Gawayo, and Mike Hammer for taking all the pain to bear with us while we are haggling amongst each other, not to solve our own problems. Hopefully, they will remain engaged in the entire process, and we have every confidence in the panel and in the African Union and their commitment to carry through their responsibilities, and of course to make sure that our agreement which we are signing today becomes implemented and to the fullest extent possible. Let's take this opportunity to once again rededicate ourselves to rebuilding our communities and to seek political and peaceful solutions to the problems that our communities face. Thank you.